graduates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Buckeye in the shoe welcome to the Honorable Charles F. Bolden, Major General, United States Marine Corps, retired. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you, President Carter, for that warm welcome. Ted, or Slapshot, as we knew him at the Naval Academy, and his lovely wife, Linda, who is somewhere up here in the stands, have been dear friends since their days back at the Naval Academy as the superintendent and the First Lady. We affectionately called Linda back then Wonder Woman, after the actress who shares her name who played that role on TV. In real life, while at the Naval Academy, she was truly a Wonder Woman. Ted and Linda, thanks to both of you for being such wonderful friends and examples of great leaders and mentors to my wife, Jackie, and me, as well as for your leadership of this great institution. This is daunting. Well, I just have to say that. If you could sit here and see this stadium, it is daunting. So if I stumble, forgive me, because I am awed. It is so wonderful to be here again on the campus of The Ohio State University. Class of 2025, you should be bursting with pride, ending your years here in Columbus with a showcase of success and hard work through which you've led your schoolmates. Let's hear it once more for your 2024 NCAA Bowl Championship Series National Championship football team. For the 2025 D1A Spirit Program Universal Cheerleaders Association National Champion. The 2025 Cheer Team National Spirit Program Champion, their second consecutive national championship. And near and dear to Wonder Woman and Slapshot, the 2024 National Champion Women's Hockey Team taking their second NCAA championship. Boy. Now, 2025, I think you know I could go on and on, but I can't begin to list all the other athletic, academic, and research successes of your last 2 years here at OSU. OSU's extremely high graduation rate tells the story of this dynamic university. I understand that about 12,000, and that's that third of the stadium back there, are going to be graduating today as Buckeyes. This is one of your life's history-making days, and I hope you'll keep that in mind. I also want to send a special shout out to those 62 or so graduates who were commissioned yesterday as second lieutenants and ensigns in our nation's Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force. Your service to our country is appreciated now more than ever. I encourage each of you to remember and regularly look in the mirror. Hear me. Look in the mirror each day. Raise your right hand and repeat the oath you took yesterday. The most critical portion is the first few sentences. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. No person or position is mentioned in that oath we take. Only the very idea on which our great nation is established is in the words of the Constitution. I also have to commend your families and all the support networks that help you achieve this goal. I credit my own parents with the foundation that led me to continue my education and eventually take to the stars. None of us would be here were it not for the shoulders on which we stand. Don't let a day pass that you don't approach someone who means a lot to you and thank them. Thank them for just being themselves and for helping you be you. I ask that you all stand now, class of 2025, and give your families a round of applause. It's been my privilege to be associated with this university and the John Glenn College of Public Affairs for many years. And I was honored to accept an honorary degree from the Ohio State University, as the president mentioned, in 2017. Senator Glenn became the oldest American to fly in space when he launched on his second mission in 1998. He wanted to rejuvenate what the elderly could see in themselves doing. In a similar way, you have the power to make the youth of this country seen, heard, and appreciated, to create a future less divisive, but with drive, purpose, and compassion. Senator Glenn told me when I talked about wanting to follow and fly like he did, he said, "Charlie, you can't go back to space until you're at least 77.
So I would.
You know, I'm now 78. And I would hop on a spacecraft again tomorrow. I'm willing to, if anyone wants to ask me, I'm just not hard, and I'm not hard to reach. But I certainly didn't see any of that in my future when I was 22 years old, like many of you, even though John Glenn and many others had already been to space. I remember well sitting in front of a black and white TV with friends while going through flight training at the Naval Air Station in Meridian, Mississippi, to watch the first moon landing on TV in July 1969. It was memorable, but to say the least. But we were all Marines and sailors embroiled in a war far away and had a lot of other things on our minds. Becoming an astronaut and going to space was the last thing on my mind. Many years later, it took the encouragement from another mentor of mine, the late, great Dr. Ron McNair, astronaut, for me to even believe in myself enough to apply to the astronaut program. Obviously, that changed my life. Like me coming out of the Naval Academy, you may not be certain at this moment where you'll finally land professionally, but it is critical for each of you to stay involved in the civic life of our country. No matter what community you live in, what your political views are, there is something you can do to make this nation better. Right where you live and work. It might not seem like it at the time, but your engagement will matter. Your engagement will matter. On the larger stage, political winds come and go. They can cause some serious challenges, and what happens in one corner of the globe can affect us all. As I have traveled the world in the last few years, I still find that people in other nations still look to America as the shining city on the hill. And they're watching us with great hope that we not put our democracy in jeopardy. They wonder. They wonder, and you can ask some of your international students here, they wonder if we can maintain our 250-year struggle to fully realize the idea foundational in the birth of our nation. I want to take a few minutes of my remaining moments with you to offer a few thoughts. Nelson Mandela is credited with saying, "Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. The time is now for your generation to be that generation. It is vital that each of you recognize the following two passages. Hear me. You must recognize the following two passages. First, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And secondly, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Most of you will probably know this, hopefully. The first is the preamble to our Constitution, and the second is the statement of the idea on which our nation was founded. Yes, this nation was founded on an idea that is what separates us from every other nation on this planet. If you believe in this idea and the importance of our democracy and the beacon it represents to billions of people with whom we share this planet, let your generation blossom. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Democracy is not a spectator sport. So stay engaged, and if you're just been observing for the past few years, get engaged. The future of our nation depends on it. I was blessed to see our planet from space, where human-made boundaries disappear. Ironically, the infinite expanse of space can reconnect you to what is important as a human being. And you are the generation that will step foot on the moon again to stay and travel to Mars, whose work on Earth will be vital to cope with the changing planet and advance frontiers of science and medicine and engineering, as well as the arts. You are the ones who will build and strengthen bridges of understanding and cooperation here in America and around the world. It's not always an easy thing to do, but it's worth the effort.
Okay.
You never know where your friends and allies are going to come from, but you must always allow yourself to be surprised and receptive to others not like you.
Right.
I consider myself an eternal optimist. I grew up in the Jim Crow South. The schools in South Carolina where my mother, father, and in-laws taught and I attended were segregated. I could only sit in the balcony of the local movie theater on Saturday mornings when blacks were allowed in. Although I might not have had the most auspicious beginning for a journey to space, I've been blessed with the support of many fine people who have walked beside me every single step of this journey. Thus, my optimism. Serving a purpose greater than yourself is at the core of the Buckeye philosophy. You can't go wrong with that. I don't need to tell you that you're embarking into what might seem a perilous world. Each generation has its specific challenges, and we don't yet fully know what yours will be. But I truly believe that the partnerships between governments, academia, industry, and among nations will continue to be crucial for creating a better world for all of us. You'll be joining those institutions and others and helping bend the arc of history. When I commanded the first joint U.S.-Russian space shuttle mission with a Russian cosmonaut as a member of our crew, our nations were still recovering from the Cold War. But space was an area where we cooperated very well. That cosmonaut, Sergei Konstantinovich Krikalev, and I still keep in touch, and our families remain friends. We were just doing our jobs, but I still believe in that promise of citizens everywhere partnering to rise above our differences, to forge lasting bonds with people who on the face of it may not be like us. I have been blessed to go to space 4 times and to travel nearly every corner of our planet. Nothing I've seen compares to the awe of looking into the eyes of my children and grandchildren. If you choose to start a family, love and care for them every single day as your loved ones cared for you. My wife Jackie and I have always given our children this advice, and I offer it to you. Be bold, be fearless, dream big dreams. Do what you want to do. By all means, don't listen to anyone who tells you you can't do something or that you don't belong. Do your job and do it very well. And whatever you do, don't let the opportunity to make a difference in your world pass you by. Especially for the women and minorities in this class. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time trying to explain yourself or your identity to anyone. Don't feel like you have to justify why you are where you are. This applies to the workplace or any other place. Don't be afraid of failure. Even the very best of us get lost and falter sometime. And anyone who tells you they know exactly where they're headed probably isn't being square with you. And yes, I do believe strongly that the arc of history continues to bend toward justice, even if we can't always see history's outcomes while we're living it. But history is made by people like you and me. So the so-called real world you're entering is the same world you've known all your lives. But it's fresh again for you in the ways you're going to use the skills you've gained here to forge careers and make differences in the world, to make history. We need to work together to accomplish the biggest things humanity has ever done. People have suffered and some have died to get us where we are. But in the future, we'll succeed together as the human race. I appeal to each of you. Keep following the beacon of knowledge and hope that was ignited during your studies here. We need you now to share yourselves, your ideas, and your decency with the world. I pray that you always value democracy and the rule of law, and I look forward to the history you will make. May God continue to bless you and your families, and you keep safe and healthy. God bless you.